Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for Solana. Now, I'm going to get into the micro counts down to the hourly, but just wanted to do a quick recap on the daily. This is one of the best performing assets over the last year and a bit, and just wanted to talk about where I have us at currently. Now, we're getting very shy retracements on Solana all the way through. Just wanted to show you my primary count, and that is that we had nested 1-2s, so 1 2 1 2 3 4 5, still working on our fourth, I believe, and we'll get our eventual fifth wave. Now for our third wave in green, we hit the 2.236 extension, kind of a rare extension, but you can see within our fifth wave hit at the 2.618, very extended waves. Now one thing to note, we usually look between the 236 and the 382 for our wave 4 in the bullish market, and we want to hold above the 50. That is the pivot pulled from this entire third wave. Now, things to note is on log scale, we have not hit that, but on linear, we're right between the 382 and the 50. And this matters because you'll notice on assets, they tend to repeat themselves. You'll see similar corrections. If we take the wave 3 in blue, you can see we did not hit the 382 either. I actually have the correction ending here as a running flat. But similarly, if we go to linear scale, you can see we hit between the 382 and the 50 within that correction. So very similar pattern, just a larger version of it. Our wave 4 in green rather than in blue, but looking for a very similar pattern to this, where we make a 3, 3, quick 5 back, and then we continue for our impulse for our fifth. Now, important things to note, I took our pitchfork, beginning of wave 1 off wave 2, like always, and we look for a pivot off the top side of that for our fourth wave. So everything's lining up as it should. I'm actually looking for this to become a 3, quick reversal, similar to this. We protect the A wave low, and we continue on for our fifth. Now, as for targeting, we have to wait for the fourth wave till it's actually complete. And at that point, I can pull from the pivot of the fourth wave to get our extension where wave 5 will equal wave 1 once we get that pivot. But it's going to be quite high. My guess currently, depending where we end, if it's similar to the previous correction, it'll be somewhere 500 plus for our fifth wave. So quite a huge move. Once we get it from current price value, we'll go with 500 for now. We're looking at almost 200%. So let's go down to the smaller time frames and talk about this zone. Remember, we're looking for that 333. Now, the only worry we have right here, talk about that first. I don't think it's going to happen. It's just an alternative. Is that we have a 3-wave move. 3-wave move. This is an ABC flat. Important to note, if we take our A wave within the correction here, this move here, we put on our 90%. Come on, 0.9. You can see we tagged it, which gives us the ability to have a flat as a 3-wave move. All that means is this is a 3, 3 connector leg, and we can get a 1-to-1 of this A for the C come down in 5 waves. That completes our fourth wave. We actually break the A wave low, then we continue for our fifth. So that's something I mentioned to pay very close attention to, because anywhere in this area, one more move to the upside most likely, we can make that move to the downside. Now, I don't think that is going to happen personally. I think we continue to grind to the upside and we actually protect this A wave low, but it is an option. And I would say if you see a very sharp declining 5-wave move off this high, that is the most likely scenario. You can put on your fib retracement whenever this ends. Know that once we pass the 618, probabilities do shift that way. Doesn't mean it has to, but if we come down and say 5-wave move, tick through, in 5 waves, come up, this is probably more likely to happen. So just throw in your 618 and pay attention to that, and pay attention to the correction after we get this move. But as of right now, looking for 5 waves up here. And my expectation, I'll get into that smaller time frame in a moment, is this turns into a ABC. So we got a 3-wave, this will become a W, this is an X, and we get a 3-wave move as an ABC. Now this technically can also be 5, but just the length of it, I think it's more likely to be an ABC, because remember, we're connecting a leg from back here. So if we get this move to the 1-to-1, and we're targeting a 1-to-1 after, make that white so you see it. So we get our move up as an A wave, look for the B wave around the wave 4-ish, around the 50%. You can see that gets us up around 260, right into our B zone. So it makes the most logical sense currently if this ends up being a flat. So the way that looks is this is an A, this is a WXY, and then we get our C wave down to complete the larger correction. Then we get our 5th wave up above that $500 area. So this is what I'm looking for, very similar to this, just a larger version. And this is very tradable. As you can see, this one ended up being an AB. Looks like a diagonal potentially there. But we should get a similar move like this, AB, AB, and get that move up. Take our profit, wait for the sell-off. So zones I'm interested in here is 241 to 263 for this wave to complete up here. If we come past the 1.618 extension at 303, that B wave becomes invalid. The triangle is pretty much over. The triangle scenario, have to be A, B. It would have to come pretty deep. I don't like it anymore. That was one thing I was following, but you can see we've broken above already. So I don't like that. I think the most logical thing is we come back in a correction and we make an equal length leg. Or in the bearish scenario, we come down impulsively, make our C wave from here. That's all our correction to get our matching leg down here. So those are my 2 options. Obviously, you want to pay attention to the next move, because if we get a nice sideways channel, like so, equal length, everything makes sense, right at like between the 382 and the 618, then most likely we're getting that move to the upside. So let's go down to the micro and talk about this last move. So our 1-to-1 where A equals C is there at 197.03. That was the area I suggested be careful for that drop for the C wave to a lower low. And that's also our wave 5 target currently as labeled. We have 1 off of wave 4, 197. So that area is very important. Now this last move does not look the greatest. If we just drag up slowly, I would suggest it's probably a diagonal to the upside. Or let me see if it measures. No, it doesn't. So most likely a diagonal to the upside. Let me see if this measures. Yep, that technically measures. We're in that B zone. So this can also be a B, C, and then we get a quick 5-wave move up, and then we come down. So we can make that move too, but I expect to try and tag this move up here. Is there any way it's complete? I don't think so yet, but I would be very careful. If I were in this, I would be hedged at this moment. I'm not going for that extra, 5%. If I got down in this level, I'd be hedged myself personally. But yeah, we'll see if we get that. I'm waiting for this to come in. Let's assume we hit that target. After that, I'd be looking for a ABC down to this zone, preferably a high B wave, something like this, within a nice channel, and look for a long at that point. And we'll see what kind of price we would get. Let's say we just get a 382. Stop at the B wave low for now, because B waves can come pretty deep and get erratic. You have to realize we'd be looking for around this zone. Not the greatest risk reward, about a 2 to 1. So I'd probably look for a different way to enter that. But I'll talk about that in a later video, how I enter that. But basically I'd wait for a break or a 618 break to the downside after I see a completed correction. You can buy above on the breakout, stop at that low if this becomes an ABC, and you get a much better risk reward. So you buy above the 618, stop at the C wave wherever it is, target up above. You can see then you're getting like 3.5 to 1. You're actually making more this way than putting your stop at the low. Not financial advice, just ways I would prefer to trade it myself. All right, guys, but it looks good. I do anticipate we make that higher B wave in the running flat scenario. This is my bias. My bias is this currently. And then we go for our fifth. All right, guys, that's it for Solana. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.